like jelly beans?
What? I have a very complicated relationship with Red Dead Redemption 2 because on one hand, it is one of my favorite games of all time, and on the other hand is the fact that this is basically a game made for people who like observing video games more than they like actually playing them. Let's find out if RDR2 is really a masterpiece or just
overrated as fuck.
Starting with the gameplay. You know, I recently reviewed Red Dead Redemption 1 on the channel, and coming from that game to RDR2 made me realize how hilariously bad Red Dead Redemption 2's gunplay really is, especially on keyboard and mouse. It is a slow, clunky, unresponsive shitfest that doesn't give a damn about rewarding skillful players. The cover system is somehow worse than the predecessor that came out almost a decade before it. Anytime there's more than 2 people shooting at you, the game goes full drunk uncle mode with screen shakes and starts swaying your reticle, actively fucking up your aim on purpose while also having the stupidest accuracy cone ever. Seriously, what the f even is this?
You're on the front line now, Mr. Stripes.
Your greatest enemy in Red Dead Redemption 2's combat system is the combat system itself. Meanwhile, in RDR1, I'm out here doing shit like this.
Shit, you almost got it.
Soon I thought that the correct way to play this game is to not give a shit about headshots and just be okay with hitting the enemies at all. But then I found out that the enemies can be absolute bullet sponges at times, and the game actually requires you to hit headshots to get 100% completion on missions.
What the hell?
Don't worry folks, here's how you do that. You take a controller, sit behind cover like a bitch, turn off your brain, and then go L2, R2, L2, R2, L2, R2 like you're playing the worst Gears of War clone ever. I mean, it's not like we didn't already have an incentive to use Deadeye mode. Like, what the hell were they thinking when they decided to make the game play like this? I mean, you had to know you fucked up bad when shooting from the horse feels more accurate than shooting from the ground at times. Also, remember in Red Dead Redemption 1 when you were shooting from a horse, the game automatically steered the horse on the road perfectly? Well, that's too bad, because in this game, the horse will do this instead. What is going on? What the hell is happening? All the intuitiveness, responsiveness, and satisfaction has been thrown out the window. Instead of making the players clean their guns, make them, oh I don't know, fun to use? It is just sad because everything else that surrounds the gunplay is just amazing. The kill cams are so badass. Oh my god! I like the weapon customization and upgrade system with different ammo types. Hip firing at close range is awesome with the ragdoll effects and executions. We finally have the option to dual wield weapons for the first time since San Andreas. The gore in Red Dead Redemption 2 is the best in any Rockstar game ever. Guns in this game sound like nothing else. The sound design overall is so unbelievably good. It feels like you're right there in the middle of the action, and the absolutely fantastic music adds so much to the thrill. This seriously had the potential to be the best gunplay in any Rockstar game ever, but they somehow decided to make it feel like shit to play. Like, it's hard to believe that these are the same people that made Max Payne 3. Gameplay design overall is just so anti-fun in this game. There's a general sense of clunkiness and input lag when controlling Arthur. Like, look at how much of a difference there is between the joystick movement and when Arthur actually starts moving here. And don't give me that stupid ass excuse of it's to make you feel weighty. Like, bitch, have you ever played literally any other third-person game? 85% of this game is just riding your horse from place to place, which is already boring as fuck, because compare the player engagement in driving a car in GTA versus riding a horse in Red Dead Redemption. So it is just pathetic that in an attempt to stretch out the game length, all the convenient stuff has also been taken out. You don't have all weapons on you and instead have them on your horse. You can't fast travel to waypoints from campfires. The horse doesn't spawn if you're far away. Like, there's already so much tediousness involved here with too many meter management systems and the other stuff I mentioned before, which just makes playing this game feel like a second job at times. Also, I appreciate the animation work on display here, and God bless the animators for crunching these out. But the thing is, the first few times you see Arthur loot enemies one by one or meticulously skin an animal, it is very impressive. But when you have to do this hundreds upon hundreds of times, at some point you just start wishing that there was an option to skip these animations, man. Hell, even Ubisoft understood this back in the good old days of Far Cry.
The gaming tank, it is trying to be a simulation with immersion and realism.
Oh yeah? Well, I love how realistic and immersive it is that the game constantly keeps despawning weapons from your back and putting them on the horse, so you have to open a menu screen and select them every time. Another bonus of this is that you can end up in missions without your weapons and your horse will be nowhere to be seen. Oh, and I also appreciate how sometimes the game straight up removes weapons you worked hard for from your inventory after failing a mission. I love how realistic and immersive it is that I can drop Swanson off a fucking bridge and he'll survive, but my horse will straight up die after a small tumble. How did he die from that? I love how realistic and immersive it is that sometimes Arthur can't even stand, let alone climb a surface that is even a tad bit angled. I love how realistic and immersive it is that Arthur will straight up start falling from waist high drops instead of simply dropping down like a normal person. I love how realistic and immersive it is that the game will give me negative honor for killing a literal rapist. I love how realistic and immersive it is that I can commit a crime in the middle of nowhere and somehow the police will know exactly where I am. I love how realistic and immersive it is that I can lose honor by killing an entire town's worth of people and then get it back by simply greeting a bunch of folks in Saint Denis. I love how realistic and immersive it is that gang members will be shouting at you to hurry up, but Arthur will take his sweet time playing the same looping animation over and over again. In fact, when I want to take some things from a drawer in real life, I also don't simply just do this. I do this instead. I love how realistic and immersive it is that you have to individually cook and craft items on fire and be careful about not ruining animal pelts while hunting in a game where you literally have detective vision and the ability to slow down time. I love how realistic and immersive it is that I can keep going on with more examples about this pseudo simulation bullshit, like the fact that this game will give you negative honor for actually robbing people during a train robbery mission, but some meat riders will still just be like,
but I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
Point is that when a game tries to be realistic to the point where it actively butchers the gameplay, you just end up noticing the unrealistic shit even more and get the worst of both worlds in the process. Speaking of worlds, let's talk about something good for a change now, which is the open world of Red Dead Redemption 2. The game world of RDR2 is on another level. This is genuinely one of the best open worlds in any game ever. It feels like a living, breathing place rather than a checklist. You all know who I'm talking about here. There is so much stuff going on everywhere with the wildlife, and the way this game handles NPCs is in a league of its own. Seriously, man, this game has the most complex and realistic NPCs I think I've ever seen in a game. I mean, most of the times. Thank you for the ride, sir. Wait, what? What?
I can't seem to catch a break today.
What the hell? Could you please teach me some of your tricks, sir? The number of customization options here are amazing. Random events that you can come across in the open world are one of my favorite parts of this entire game. Alongside making the world feel more alive and giving it more depth, they offer player freedom and choice, which is something that the actual missions of the game don't. We'll talk more about that in a bit. The level of detail here is just insane. In fact, I will go as far as to say that Red Dead Redemption 2 is the only true next-gen game, which is ironic considering it came out in 2018, and it is so optimized that it runs on hardware from 2013 while also looking like this. This game looks and sounds like God. It is genuinely a technical behemoth, which makes it even sadder that those doofuses over at Rockstar Games still haven't released a 60 FPS patch for current gen consoles. They're in the hopes that later on they can pull another expanded and enhanced bullshit on us again.
You can't keep getting away with it!
There's of course a lot of things to do here, like playing mini games, fishing, hunting, robbing stores and trains and all, but my personal favorite is just finding different ways to fuck around with the game. I say look on the bright side, mate, at least you'll finally be useful for once in your life. Here you go, buddy.
You having fun?
RDR2 is a game where I really like to take it slow, just like with your mother. The more time I spend in this game's world, the more I appreciate it, because this is art, man. That being said, the open world isn't without its flaws either. Some of these flaws I already mentioned before.
But wait!
Why does this game make it such a chore to rob stores? Also, you can't even rob banks outside of missions in a game literally about outlaws. Rockstar would rather have you doing actual chores instead. No offense, but if you actually enjoy this shit, you need to be taken to Arkham Asylum ASAP. Even though the game is really polished, some hilarious bugs are still present here. Oh wow, I seem to have achieved max horse bonding here. There are parts of the map which the game doesn't want you to go to, so if you try to go there, you just die getting shot by nothing. The biggest problem with this game's open world is that it doesn't even matter to this game's missions. Red Dead Redemption 2 has the worst mission design in any Rockstar game ever. This shit makes GTA 5 look like Metal Gear Solid 5. Of course, you have the typical outdated Rockstar bad game design for every single mission, where you start the mission in one place, then ride your horse to the yellow dot where the mission actually starts. Oh wow, something went wrong again. Shoot a bunch of people and then rinse and repeat the same thing for almost 100 hours, but this time the lack of player freedom is worse than it's ever been before. Now I'm not just talking about the missions that are trash in general like this one. Wow. See guys, this is why I play video games. To shovel animal shit. I'm also talking about the fact that there is zero room for creativity in these missions, to the point where it genuinely made me quit this game at times. Try to flank the enemies from a different direction, mission failed. Try to take a different route to the yellow dot on the map, mission failed. Try to do anything that resembles free will and creative freedom, mission failed yet again. RDR2 is a game that actively punishes you for using your brain. No joke. This is a game that takes away control from you to automatically and forcefully slow down your character when you're near a mission objective, whether you like it or not, because fuck you, that's why. This game's missions are like a toxic girlfriend that micromanages everything you do. Like holy fuck dude, majority of the playtime spent in majority of the missions in this game is with you following someone on your horse, and all you gotta do here is hold one button.
Wow guys, such interactive gameplay over here. Just so entertaining.
It is so goddamn boring, man. What the hell is the point of making one of the most impressive video game worlds ever when Rockstar just wants you to disconnect from it, turn off all critical and creative thinking, and just follow a bunch of on-screen instructions like a fucking puppet? I'm not denying the fact that there are some very badass moments here.
Get down here now, you inbred trash!
Damn dude, this is so cool. But if you only care about a few big bombastic set pieces and not the gameplay, at that point, why even make a video game then? Just make a movie or a TV show instead. This is not a true open world game whatsoever. Compare this to the amount of freedom we used to have back in the day in something like GTA San Andreas, where even just this one mission can be done in so many different ways, and you'll see how infuriatingly bad this game design has gotten. Instead of spending all the time and resources on borderline pointless visual details, how about spending it on making the game actually fun to play and evolving this ancient ass formula? I swear man, a lot of the fan base of this game feels like such an echo chamber, like I'm almost convinced that these dudes don't even play video games. They just hop on YouTube to watch a 10 amazing details in Red Dead Redemption 2 video, see a bunch of horse balls shrink, and then go like, oh my god, this is the greatest game ever! Motherfucker, how are horse balls more important than the actual gameplay? But Gaming Tank, in the beginning of the video you said, it is one of my favorite games of all time, but you have mostly dookied on it till now. Well, calm down buddy, because now it's time for me to talk about why I hold this game so near and dear to me, and that is the story. Red Dead Redemption 2 is set many years before the events of Red Dead Redemption 1, and it follows the story of your character of Arthur Morgan, a senior member of the Vanderlyn gang led by Dutch Vanderlyn, the man who always has a goddamn
plan!
The story begins with the gang on the run from the law after a failed robbery in the town of Blackwater. From there on out, it turns into a complex tale about loyalty, redemption, and the fight to survive in a changing world. The rest is up to you to find out, and I won't spoil anything major. Red Dead Redemption 2 has one of my favorite narratives in not just video games, but in all of media. The beating heart and soul of this game are its characters. Even though RDR2 is dog shit in terms of replayability from a gameplay perspective, the characters are what kept me coming back, and they're the reason that I've completed this game 3 times now. Dutch, Hosea, Rip Van Winkle, Charles, Mary Beth, Uncle, and literally every other character is so fleshed out and memorable. The game just excels in making you care for these people. This is the most interested I've been in a game's supporting cast in years. I actively try learning more about them. I love spending time just walking around in the camps and hanging out with these people because they feel like real human beings. Still hate the fact that the game forces you to slow walk in camps though. Every actor knocks it out of the park and the writing is just astonishing. Like, I still code this game from time to time.
You enjoy being a rich man's toy, dear?
I enjoy society, flaws and all. You people venerate savagery, and you will die. Savagely. All of you.
Oh, we're all gonna die, Agent.
The music is godly and I still listen to it often. While the gameplay treats you like a dumbass toddler, the story treats you like a grown-up, meaning it doesn't have to lean into tropes like big expository speeches. Another thing I'd like to point out is how playing this game first made Red Dead Redemption 1's story even better for me. But if you played RDR1 before this game like most people, a lot of the tension regarding some characters will just be lost for you since you already know who's making it out of this game alive for sure. Now I'm not gonna act like the story is perfect or something because there are some glaring issues here, the number one being the pacing. The pacing of Red Dead Redemption 2 can be straight up poo-poo garbage at times. There are moments where the characters act like complete fools just for the sake of a shootout section or stretching the story out more. Out of nowhere in our very first mission, Sadie's character turns into a cold-blooded killer who just wants an excuse to shoot people when no such thing has even been hinted at before. Then most of the time you spend with her feels like filler and the game decides to fast-track her character arc in chapter 6. Still, the Echo Chamber community loves glazing her for some reason, even though she causes the deaths of innocents without remorse and has the most basic ass cliche arc ever. Also, chapter 5 is some of the most blatant filler type shit I've ever seen, and it completely puts the interesting part of the game to a screeching halt, and even when this chapter is over, RDR2 is never able to escape that feeling of shooting galleries for the sake of it. Also, on a side note, I love how realistic and immersive it is that I could be donating money equivalent to millions for the time period to camp and Dutch will still be like, we need more money. Huh? But there's one thing that doesn't drop in quality throughout this entire experience, and that is the character of Arthur Morgan. In my humble opinion, Arthur Morgan is one of the greatest characters ever written. At first glance, he's just a sarcastic,
I got a serious medical condition. Yes, you are a compulsive liar. No need to be like that.
stone cold killer.
Well, maybe when your mother's finished mourning your father, I'll keep her in black on your behalf. You think on that, boy?
Which makes you think that this game will be about a bunch of cowboy outlaw badasses filling more graves than your typical fat positive influencers, and while it does have that, the main thing that this story is about is that it is never too late to do the right thing. This game genuinely has one of the best portrayals of masculinity I've seen in years, man. Hell, it is the reason I relate with Arthur doing stuff like making jokes to mask the pain he's going through.
You okay?
Peachy.
He's literally me, guys. The way his character evolves throughout the story is handled masterfully. Seeing his relationships gradually change and grow with time with these people who feel powerless in these unfortunate circumstances is nothing short of heartfelt. And man, anytime I saw Arthur and John on screen together, I just had a big old smile on my face. People don't appreciate this game's epilogue as much as they should. And it's not just a matter of the main story. The side stories RDR2 tells are also so complex and intriguing. I absolutely love them, and some of my favorite moments and characters from the entire game are found in the optional side missions, which really makes them feel essential.
I know I ruined your life. I suffer for it every day. But don't let yourself get killed for pride. I've seen it kill too many folk.
I don't know how to put it into words, but I genuinely want to savor every moment I have with this character. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I hate reading in video games, but here, I love going through Arthur's beautifully illustrated journal and getting an insight on the world through the eyes of this broken man who refuses to give up on the ones he cares about. I'm not kidding when I say this. this game personally helped me a lot. It kind of held me together through some of the most depressing times in my life till now. Even with all its flaws, this story is a beautiful tragedy that takes you on a roller coaster of emotions. I laughed, I cried, and most importantly, I cared. In conclusion, even though it is nowhere near as good to be called the greatest game ever like some meat writers pretend it is and also hate you if you disagree, Red Dead Redemption 2 is still a very well made game that will always hold a very special place in my heart. RDR1 is without a doubt a way better game if you actually want to play a fun video game, but if story matters to you more than gameplay, RDR2 will be the better game for you. Red Dead Redemption 2 is neither overrated nor a masterpiece, it is an overrated masterpiece. Thank you all so much for watching this video till the end and for all the support you have shown me in 2024. I am so grateful for it, man. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you next time.